What up, everybody? It's me, Mr. Right here with another deck profile to give y'all that chaos and mayhem at your fighting areas. I'm giving y'all my first place at my locals 7 Seas Granblue deck, and out of the 4 matches I had a lot of fun. It showed me what the deck can do, what I can do. Even though this isn't my main clan, it definitely has shown how powerful it can be, and against some very good players. The hardest 2 matches of the 4, I played against Dark Irregulars, Trial Deck Gear Chronicle. I don't know how that happened, but it happened, and hey. And then against Gurguit and Soulless Coco. I won against Gurguit because I had to play the grade 2 game. Granted, I kept riding too, so he couldn't sea breeze me. I got the first round. The second round, he just had a lot of numbers on board. Third round, it just went in my favor because I could pull out a lot more numbers towards the end and caused him to drop a lot of hand. And because he had a slight distraction, I won't really go into it, but it was a slight distraction, and it was something personal there. So then it was Soulless OTT. The first match went to me because I got to sea breeze him because he chose not to ride again. And luckily I had sea breeze. Normally I never put sea breeze in my decks, but for this instance I did, for that just in case scenario, and it happened. I got it. Second round almost went in my favor, except for, we played all the way through. He didn't scoop. The reason he almost scooped because he had the G assist on 1 and 2, but the way things worked out for him is that he got his hand back. I couldn't guard certain things that would give him more cards, and then he ended up, winning that. And then we actually got to play Vanguard in the third match. So, from 1 to 3, and then, so on and so forth. But I started pulling off my combos of 5 attacks a turn, wearing down his hand. And because his attacks, as far as stride goes, are on hit, I got to PG those, and I didn't see any toms that turn, mainly because he would put up his 12K or Troublemaker or something like that. So, but anyway, enough blabbing about what happened last night. Just figured I'd throw that out there. Undying Departed Grenache, when he is retired by a hollow effect. When he's retired by a hollow effect, you get a counter charge too. And then for the triggers right there, we have 4 Dr. Rouge. Yeah, she is the mistress of the deck, and she helps G-Guard. 4 make the Ghosty and family for 4 stand. A good for early game rush should they trigger check. When you call it back from the drop zone and you hollow it, you give a different unit plus 10,000, and of course it retires. But it also gains at the end of turn. But it also gets the skill of when it's retired at any point in the time that you have this card on field, be it you call over it or night crow it, or at the end of turn it goes back into the deck. And then we got Waifu Assault Command Kerrigan. She is 4 of the crit, and then we have 8 crit total for Rough Seas Banshee for drawing purposes. When you put her in the soul from rear, you get to draw 1 card. Of course, we have 7 Seas Helmsman Nightcrow. We have a 7 Seas Vanguard, and you basically get to retire anything on the field except for this card, and then you switch whatever you want to on the field with this card. So you have Cutlass. You can switch this out. You have what is that card? Make the Ghosty. Switch that out, and stuff like that. Then we have, of course, like I said, Dancing Cutlass. Soul Blast 2. Draw 1 when it's placed on rear. We have 4 stride fodder, just because striding is a thing these days. And we have 4 basic PG Freddy the Ghosty, so we can protect our front row rear guards should they be there at any point in the game. During the Gurgle match, I had to again ride several grade 2s till I got to a certain 7Cs card. But this is one of the cards I got to ride. Skeleton Cannoneer. When you call it back from the drop zone, Counterblast 1, retire one of your opponent's units. If you choose to hollow this card, you get to draw a card. And then we have 7C's Master Swordsman / Shade. Whoa. He is actually the card that saved my ass, because I got to heal out my pledge ton, and I had this on Van Circle. I survived for the turn, and then it was my turn again, and so I rolled into pledge ton, and so on. So, but anyway, when you attack with the Vanguard, Counterblast 1, retire a grade 1 or greater, and you have a 7C's Vanguard, call this unit and put it in the front row so it can attack for an 11. The beast of the deck here is Witch Doctor of the Rotten Sea Necro Rook. It attacks for 16k if you hollow it, so there's no reason you shouldn't ever hollow this card unless, of course, Diablo. It attacks for 11 otherwise if you don't hollow it. And then we have 2 Column Bard, one of the key pieces I used to cause a 5 attacks per turn. So should you ever want to cause that much chaos and mayhem, this is the card to do it with. Boosting, when this card is boosted, and attack of the Vanguard, Counterblast 1, call a unit back from the drop zone. Doesn't get a bonus, but it stays there on the field. So, and then we got 2 Ruin Shade just to help mill when we attack anything. Mill 2, it gets a +2 bonus. For the 3s, like I said, Pledge Ton really helped me out here. 3 of. When you have 7C's grade 2 or 3, and it's the beginning of your ride phase, Counterblast 2, ride this unit as stand. And when this unit is placed on Van, you get to bring back a unit for free, and of course you retire that unit at the end of turn. This is really good for break riding if you don't want to pitch your 3 to stride and you're on a break ride. And of course, if you have the Counterblast to spare and you need that extra unit and you're already on pledge ton, there you go. We have 4 Lord of the 7C's Night Mist break ride. When you break ride over it, Vanguard gets plus 10,000, and you bring back 2 units from the drop zone. Those 2 units get plus 5,000 each. And of course you go with Necro Rook, and there's a 21k swing right there. As far as my strides are concerned, we got 1 screw or scryu, some people call it like that. It basically helps. I use this card to get an extra card into my drop zone, just in case if I want to use it for later. It does, help Granblue players the most, so it gets that extra plus 10. Then we got 3 Corpse Dragon. Mill 2 gets the extra plus 5. We got 1 Bandit Rum, attack on hit. Summon a card from the drop, give it plus 2. We got 1 Sea Breeze. I was able to use it on the OTT player, and in the first round I used Sea Breeze because he forgot to ride, or didn't choose to ride, and then the second game he Sea Breezed me, so it was pretty fun. Then we got 1 Blizzard, just for that space filler of a 16. When my Marids come in, I'll definitely do an updated G-Zone as far as this is concerned, because I feel that 3 Obadiah is too much. Maybe 1 is fine, because I've only used it at least once a game, and this is to help fill my drop zone when you stride with it. And when you put it on Van, you get 3 units from your deck and put them into drop zone. And if 2 or more were hollowed, you get to call a normal ghosted unit behind it. So yeah, it's a free unit for you, especially if it's a Stride Fodder. Then we got 2 Night Rose. I never used this card, like, ever. Out of all the games I played, I never used this card. So this card may come out for Mareed, and one of the Obadiahs may come out. See what happens. But when she attacks and counterblasts to Persona Flip, GB2 is active. Summon 2 units into 2 different rows. That's okay, but this card here does a better job of that. I think this is obviously meant for 7 Seas, and Night Rose is meant for Night Rose. But anyway, Night Mist, when you have a 7 Seas Heart, counterblast 1, bring back 2 units, and retire them at the end of turn. So yeah, obviously the deck can pull off massive amounts of attacks and get a lot of synergy within itself. I got a lot of compliments, especially from the Gurglewood player, that I didn't know Granblue could synergize so well. I didn't know what they could do, and so because of pulling off 5 attacks a turn, mainly because of one of the combos I always use is Column Bard boosted with whatever, and I would have all of these cards would be in the drop zone, of course. All of these cards would be in the drop zone. So I'd call these 2 back. Of course, I'd have a booster for him. So I would hollow, swing for 16. If I broke road, then 21. I would probably boost it just because of a stand trigger. Then I'd attack with the Vanguard, calling /shade back. If they PG'd it, that's fine. If I got a stand trigger, cool. If not, then 11 at the van. Then I'd attack, boost it, call this back, and hollow it again for 16. Or if I had a stand trigger, I would boost it again, or however things worked out. So that was 5 there. If I got to break ride over break ride, and I saw that my opponent was at a very high damage, I'd call these 2 back, hollow both, then I'd swing for 21, or boost it for 28, and do the same thing, 21, 16, 28, whatever. Then I would swing with the Vanguard, then I would counterblast 2, bring back 2 /shades, and then if I didn't use my boosters, then those are still there. Of course, stand triggers can happen, boosting and standing the rear guard behind the van. Then I'll attack again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks there, including the Vanguard. So hopefully this gave y'all some insight on how to go against 7 Seas, or how to play 7 Seas, or just a different tactic, or all out enjoyment of the deck. Leave a like on the video, comment, or any questions, leave them in the comment section, and we'll talk about it like civilized adults. Subscribe to the channel, press that little bell by the subscription button should you be on your mobile device, so every time I post a battle or a deck profile, giving y'all that chaos and mayhem that you need, or that you would like to see, go ahead and do so. I only post every other day maybe but I post as much as I can. So alright, holla.